I was mopping the marble floor of the city's most exclusive law firm, the late-night silence broken only by the hum of the air conditioning and the rhythmic slosh of the bucket. When the email dropped, it wasn't from work, it was from my wife, Sarah. The subject line was simply divorce. The body of the message was short, brutal, and completely unsurprising. It wasn't about love or connection or lack thereof. It was about my career, or rather, my lack of a real career. "I'm done being married to a janitor, Arthur," she wrote. "I need a partner who reflects the success I've achieved. You are an embarrassment. I've already consulted with a lawyer. I expect a quick, clean split. And since you barely make minimum wage, I don't anticipate any financial complications." I stood there, leaning on my mop handle, the cold, harsh fluorescent light reflecting off the wet floor, reading the words that dismissed my entire existence. What Sarah didn't know, what absolutely no one knew, not even my closest friends or family, was the truth behind the mop. I wasn't just Arthur, the 45-year-old high school dropout who cleaned offices at night. I was Arthur Vance, the billionaire inventor and CEO of Vance Global, a cutting-edge robotics and AI firm that developed specialized automation for logistics and industrial cleaning. My personal net worth was conservatively $3, 8 billion and I had been living a double life for 10 years, deliberately remaining under the radar to avoid gold diggers and to ensure I had a truly authentic human connection. I had adopted the persona of a humble janitor precisely to test Sarah's character. She failed spectacularly. She was divorcing me for being poor, just as I was about to reveal a fortune she couldn't comprehend. The question wasn't if I should let her go, but whether I should simply reveal the truth and let her lawyer's face, and her own, shatter the moment she realized she was divorcing a literal billionaire for his supposed lack of wealth. Was I wrong to use a multi-billion-dollar empire to deliver a chilling, permanent lesson in superficiality and greed? Tell me if you would have done the same thing. To fully grasp the setup, you need the history of Arthur Vance and the creation of the greatest social experiment of my life. My story isn't typical. I dropped out of high school not because I was stupid, but because I was obsessed with robotics and AI. I spent my teenage years in garages, not classrooms, programming complex machines. By the time I was 20, I had developed a proprietary logistics software that was instantly revolutionary. Vance Global was born quickly, quietly, and exploded exponentially over the next decade. We didn't do public IPO. We maintained private equity, allowing me absolute control and massive liquidity. I became one of the world's youngest self-made billionaires, but I absolutely hated the person the wealth created, a target. The sycophants, the endless requests for funding, the women who saw only the dollar signs. It was suffocating. I needed to know if real connection existed. So, I created the persona. I told my board and my most trusted executive team that I was taking a sabbatical for a long-term behavioral study, which was true in a bizarre way. I bought a small, modest condo downtown, put on worn clothes, and took a legitimate night job as a custodian for a professional cleaning service. The cleaning job was perfect. It was solitary, predictable, and gave me hours of quiet time to monitor Vance Global's operations remotely on my secure, military-grade laptop, hidden under a pile of cleaning rags in the janitor's closet. I was both the CEO and the mop man. I met Sarah 3 years into this experiment. She was a beautiful, ambitious marketing executive who worked in one of the firms I cleaned. I told her I was a night shift custodian who worked double shifts to pay the rent. She seemed charmingly oblivious to the wealth divide at first. She was attracted to my quiet nature, my consistency, and the fact that I was always available during the day. We dated for a year, and I genuinely started to believe I had found the genuine connection I craved. I thought she saw me Arthur, not the bank account. We got married in a simple civil ceremony. The cracks started appearing almost immediately after the wedding. Sarah's career took off. She landed a high-profile job, started earning significantly more, and her friends, all high-earning, socially competitive professionals, started asking questions. My janitor story became a liability in her social circle. She would constantly make excuses for my absences at parties, or introduce me vaguely as Arthur. He works in facilities management. The subtle passive aggression turned into outright contempt. She began criticizing our small condo, my modest car, and my lack of drive. Every argument eventually boiled down to money and status. "Why can't you just go back to school?" she'd demand. "Why are you content being a servant?" The final straw came when she threw a party for her firm's partners. I had taken the night off from my other job, my real job as CEO, to attend. One of her partners, a particularly smug man named Harrison, cornered me. "So, Arthur," he slurred, "do you think you could maybe sneak me a key card to the executive washroom? My clients complain the fixtures are dull. Maybe your superiors could shine them up." I just smiled and nodded, but Sarah saw the exchange, and her face was a mask of furious humiliation. 2 days later, the divorce email arrived. She assumed I was a nobody with no resources. She hired a predatory, high-powered divorce attorney named Laura Vance ***. No relation, thankfully, but ironically fitting for the coming confrontation. Sarah's plan was simple: get the divorce finalized quickly, keep her high salary and assets, and pay me a minimum, one-time settlement check to get rid of the embarrassment. She wanted me erased, financially and socially. Little did she know, I had been preparing for this exact moment for 5 years, ever since I first founded Vance Global. Every single asset, every dollar, every piece of intellectual property was shielded under an irrevocable personal asset trust, IPAT specifically designed to protect my liquidity from gold, diggers, lawsuits, and, yes, divorce. My only personal assets were the clothes on my back, the modest condo, which was actually owned by a Vance Global Shell Corporation, and my old truck. The entire $3.8 billion was legally untouchable by Sarah, but simply being untouchable wasn't enough for the lesson she deserved. I didn't reply to the email. I let the silence hang for a week. I had my own lawyers, the most powerful corporate law team in the country, the ones who handled billion-dollar international mergers, reach out to Sarah's lawyer, Laura Vance. I told my team to use only my legal name, Arthur Vance and give no hint of my actual profession, just the name. The meeting was set for a sterile, neutral conference room the following Tuesday. So that's the situation I was in. My wife, who believed I was a destitute janitor, had just filed for divorce, seeking to pay me off and discard me. I had $3.8 billion at my fingertips, protected by an ironclad trust, and the perfect opportunity to deliver a lesson she would never forget. I could have simply signed the papers, disappeared with my fortune, and let her think she won the clean, quick split. Or I could unleash the full power of Arthur Vance, the CEO, and not only refuse her settlement but ensure that she, the successful executive, was left completely exposed and publicly humiliated in front of her high-powered lawyer. I wanted her to feel the total gut-wrenching consequence of prioritizing status over love. Before I tell you the cold, methodical way I delivered the final verdict, a verdict that left her utterly speechless, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have quietly walked away with your billions, or would you have orchestrated the total and catastrophic public humiliation of the wife who called you an embarrassment? Seriously, let me know what choice you would have made right there. I chose the orchestrated, total humiliation. Sarah needed a lesson that wasn't about money itself, but the asterisk consequence of shallow judgment asterisk. It was time for Arthur Vance, the CEO, to emerge from the janitor's closet. I didn't even attend the initial meeting. I let my chief corporate counsel, Mr. Davies, a man who charged $1,500 an hour and usually negotiated hostile takeovers, handle the initial interaction. Sarah and Laura Vance walked into the conference room, one smug, the other radiating predatory confidence. They expected a nervous, poorly dressed janitor arguing over a few $1,000s. Instead, they were greeted by Mr. Davies and two other top-tier corporate litigation specialists. Laura Vance, initially amused, quickly became confused. "Are we sure we have the right Mr. Vance? I was expecting Arthur, the custodian." Mr. Davies just smiled the cold, practiced smile of a man who only deals in 9 figures. He slid a single, complex legal document across the table. It wasn't a settlement offer. It was a *** motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction ***, filed on the grounds that the marital assets were essentially zero. "My client, Arthur Vance," Mr. Davies stated, "agrees to the separation. However, due to the complete and utter lack of joint marital property, we submit that the petitioner's claim for asset division is moot." Sarah, completely baffled, glanced at the document. Laura Vance, however, understood legal smoke signals. She looked at the names of the law firm and the corporate jargon on the document and went pale. "Mr. Davies, who exactly is your client, Arthur Vance?" Mr. Davies leaned forward, his voice dropping to a theatrical whisper that only I, listening remotely on a secure line, could truly appreciate. "Mr. Vance is the sole founder and CEO of Vance Global ***. He is the individual who currently controls 78% of the company's private stock. And as per the IPAT, which I believe you should review on page 14, he has maintained complete and ironclad financial separation from all marital assets since the company's inception. You may Google the current valuation of Vance Global Counsel. My client's personal worth is in the high multi-billions." The silence in the conference room was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. Sarah, who had been smugly sipping coffee, choked. Laura Vance grabbed her phone, and I could practically hear the Google search **Vance Global Valuation * happening in real time. The number that came up was impossible to ignore, a colossal, life-changing figure. The immediate consequence was pure, professional humiliation for Sarah. Laura Vance, realizing she had just dismissed a multi-billion-dollar client's spouse as a janitor, immediately excused herself and furiously called her senior partner. Sarah, meanwhile, was left alone, sputtering, trying to piece together the pieces of the man she married and the multi-billion-dollar empire she had called an embarrassment. The actual confrontation happened the next day, face-to-face in my condo. She burst in, tearful and accusatory, demanding answers. "It was all a lie, Arthur. You lied to me. You're a billionaire. I was sitting in my old, worn armchair, wearing the same cleaning uniform I'd worn the night she sent the email. I just looked at her, calmly. I didn't lie, Sarah. I just didn't wear a sign. You knew I worked in facilities. You knew I was quiet. You were the one who judged my worth based entirely on the title I didn't have. I was testing you. I gave you all of me. My time, my attention, my loyalty, and all you saw was the mop. You didn't divorce a janitor, Sarah. You divorced a man because you thought he was poor, and in doing so, you willingly threw away your share of a life of unimaginable wealth. I then dropped the final, crushing hammer. I informed her that since there were no marital assets to divide, I would agree to sign the divorce papers, immediately, on one condition. She had to keep the condo, the embarrassment, car, and a yearly stipend equal to the janitorial salary she despised, all channeled through the company's charitable foundation. She had to live the life she so vehemently rejected. I also stipulated that she must immediately resign from her current high-profile job, as I had purchased the company she worked for the day before our meeting, using a small, unrelated holding company. She was now unemployed, and her former employer was owned by a subsidiary of Vance Global. The firm, I explained to her lawyer, had performance issues. The fallout was instant and absolute. Sarah, the status-obsessed executive, was suddenly stripped of her high-status job and forced into a life defined by the salary she mocked. She ended up selling the modest condo, which she now legally owned, to live off the meager stipend and the small proceeds, constantly running into her former colleagues who saw her spectacular fall from grace. She learned the hard way that when you chase status and dismiss kindness, the universe has a brutal way of delivering cosmic karma. Her lawyers, completely humiliated, tried every angle to touch the trust, but the IPAT was flawless. She walked away with nothing but the memory of the life she discarded. As for me, Arthur Vance, the billionaire CEO, I finally stepped out of the shadows. I sold the cleaning service I was working for, giving every single one of my former colleagues massive bonuses, officially took my place at the helm of Vance Global, and am now channeling my focus into genuine, philanthropic ventures that support tradespeople and essential workers. I bought a quiet, beautiful estate miles away from the city, one I now share with a wonderful woman who works as a librarian and actually likes talking about books, not bank accounts. The mop is framed in my private office, a reminder of the most expensive background check I ever conducted. The greatest revenge was not the money itself, but the look on Sarah's face when she realized that her overwhelming greed and superficiality had cost her a seat on a $3.8 billion throne. I look back now and know I made the right choice. My calculated humiliation wasn't about spite. It was about delivering an unforgettable lesson on the true cost of moral bankruptcy. Like this video if you think the janitor delivered the perfect, justified financial karma. Subscribe for more stories about secret trusts and spectacular revenge. And please, share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section below. Do you think I should have allowed her a lump sum for comfort, or was forcing her to live the life she mocked the only way to truly prove the point? I'll see you all in the next story.